And I'm going to invite the 4 panelists on stage. Please, with a hand of applause, let's welcome our panelists on stage.
Hello everyone, MeSomBo. MeSomBo. Okay, great. So we're actually going to be a panel. I don't even want to use the word panel. We are chatting, and we are going to tell you about how the project works. So my name is Eunice Mensah. I am the advisor on equality and rights with the UNAIDS Ghana Country Office, and I'll allow my co-sisters to also introduce themselves. Over to you, Mame.
Okay, I'm Mameya JC Ado. I'm also with WAPCAS Plus as the Senior Technical Advisor for Human Rights, Legal and Ethics.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Dorcas Manote Agri. I'm with the Ghana SRHR Alliance for Young People.
Hi everyone, my name is Julia Nana from NAPLAS Ghana. I'm the chair for Eastern Region.
Okay, great. So, like I said, it's not really like a very formal panel. We're going to be having a discussion where we tell you about the MeSomBo initiative. I am worth it, I am valuable, I am loved. It is on internal stigma. And I'm going to start with Dorcas because it actually started with a conversation with Dorcas when she sent a concept note to our office and said, let's try and do something for adolescent girls and young women. And then we began to co-design and co-create from there. So over to you, Dorcas, to share your reflections.
Thank you very much, Eunice. So pick it up from what Eunice said. At Ghana SRHR Alliance for Young People, our focus is on helping adolescent girls and young people to empower them and help them hone their potential. So in line with the work we do, we were considering what else we can do for adolescent girls living with HIV and AIDS, given that they are also part of our target population. And with the data on the issues surrounding HIV and AIDS, we were thinking of what we can do. So we came up with a concept. We called it Project Dream. Now, Project Dream sought to help adolescent girls and young women living with HIV and AIDS, live beyond their situation, hone themselves, have dreams, and be able to access quality services, be able to live out of the stigma they face. So in our discussion with Eunice, we began to co-create. What more can we do aside the usual service delivery, aside the usual HIV testing and counseling? Because looking at the situation on ground, there are a lot of intersecting differences. People living with HIV and AIDS, people living with disability who are also living with HIV and AIDS, people, teenage mothers who are also living with HIV and AIDS. So we realized that among all these diverse identities, even people identified as female sex workers or other binaries, they are also faced with a common underlying condition. They are living with HIV and AIDS. And the root cause of their survival is internal stigma and external stigma. But we realized that the internal stigma was intense. And so what can we do differently to ensure that we do not just tackle one bit of the issue, but we mesh all of them, and all of them have intersecting solutions. So in their intersecting identities, can we have a one-stop shop intervention that also addresses their needs so that they can feel confident, bold, and be able to access their services, be economically empowered, and be able to make life meaningful for them. So in our discussion with UNAIDS and Eunice, we have to now co-create so that we have an intervention that kills all these birds, And so we came up with a new name called DACHI. And the DACHI means destigmatized, assisted, ambitious, knowledgeable, young, empowered, and motivated, right? So that is DACHI. It's a local name for future, DACHI. So the intervention now came up with 4 components, which is addressing the psychosocial components. The psychosocial component 6 will address both the internal and external stigma, but our focus is on the internal stigma that the people that they identified as people living in HIV and AIDS face, the stigma they even displace on themselves. And so the psychosocial components sought to address that. Then we had the knowledge aspect. that's also sought to address the human rights component, because in an event where you identified with as someone living HIV and AIDS, there are other human rights components that you are also exposed to, but because of the lack of knowledge around that. So SRAJ played that critical role, technical role, providing information, access to for them to know that even though I'm living HIV and AIDS, there are some rights that are equal for everyone. So SRAJ provided that information component. In addition to that, there was a economic component that also sought to provide livelihood support, employment, employable skills, and startup capital that helped them to be able to, get a job. Because one of the challenges that we identified in our initial conception stage was the fact that because of the status of the young people, they do not get access to jobs. They are usually not employed. And so what then can we do so that we can make sure that even though I identified as a young woman living HIV and AIDS, I could still overcome poverty. I can still overcome the issue of looking for a job and me being denied a job, but still I can have something doing with my skills that I have. Then thirdly, we adopt the community approach, where community approach is we identify people within the community who identified with the young people, and these people served as mentors. So there was a femtor component, that's female mentors, and these people, most of them identify themselves as young adult women who are living HIV and AIDS, who were willing to mentor these other young women, give them the space where they could talk, they could share ideas. So the four components came together to create safe space for these young people to thrive and move above the situation. And so that was how we transitioned from the problem identification phase, co-creation the intervention. I want just to mention that we co-created this intervention with the identified young girls. We didn't just sit in the comfort of our home and we're like, okay, let's do that. No, we identified the girls and we asked them, what do you think we can do differently? How do we go about this? How do you think this approach will work for you? So in the area of identification of the skills we need to train them with, in the identification of the mentors, and even in the identification of the various vantage points where they could connect with, they were all involved in the co-creation of the intervention. And this is what made it very beautiful and very inclusive. And the design thinking, all the approaches that we had to adopt make it the innovation that we think is worth sharing with everyone, that we can easily adopt in other countries. So I'm happy to share, and if there are any follow-up questions, so I'm happy to add on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dorcas. That was really detailed. And as she was talking, I was actually remembering all the different pockets of things that led to this space over a year ago when we designed this. And when we brought on board Auntie Gillian, I call her Auntie Ju. Everybody say Auntie Ju. Because she's really an auntie to everyone, and she's like the nicest person. So she's from NAPLAS Ghana, the network of persons living with HIV, like she mentioned. And they were actually the ones on the field doing the identification, doing the mobilization, providing the support with the femtors. Auntie Ju, you can tell us, share your experiences.
Thank you very much, Mayu, as I always call you, Mayu. So the Dachi project started really in my region, that's Eastern region, in a selected district. So I was there when they invited me to inform me about this initiative. So I told them, yes, this is a welcome initiative because, especially Lower Manya, the stigma there is very, very high. And due to the stigma, even the adults are not even seeing top how much their children. So we were engaged, and they gave me their concept. We all sat down, and I told them, yes, we are there. My girls are there, but I cannot just take decision on my own or on their behalf, but we invite them so that we all have the dialogue together to see your mission and see if they are also having something to add up, or maybe if they are interested. So I invited them in our various selected facilities. So we came together, they brought their visions, and we also expressed it. And they were happy to embrace this section. So it's not just that they just came to impose anything on us in the region or on our district, but we were invited. The adolescents were also engaged to ask them, what do you think about this project that is coming? And what are your views? One, what I've observed is, as at the time they came, because of the internal stigma that was within them, some were trying to deny or run away from this opportunity. But because I was there, I also encouraged them that we should come out of our shells so that we can also be empowered. So they engaged it, and truly we started the section. It did not only started, they, as I said, they did not impose anything. We invited, we slotted or we mapped their livelihood activities into 3 categories for them to choose what they think will benefit them. So we started with that selection, and it was in bead making, detergent, hairdressing, beauticians, wig making, and styles. So they selected whatever they think they can do. That's the livelihood aspect. And it has really empowered them, because you know sometimes visiting the facility to even pick your medication, it entails your transportation, some labs that we are supposed to do, but we are not able to make those labs because they were not having the money to support themselves, because they were falling within the vulnerable. They did not just pick anybody living with HIV, but they picked the vulnerable one because there was an assessment being done to pick the criteria, as Dr. said. Women living with HIV who are also having children who are maybe positive or even under abuse. Some are with partners who are abusing them, but because they were not having anywhere to go, they called in their shells and they were there. So this intervention brought all these people out and even helped them to speak out of those violences that they were going through. It did not end there. After the dachi or the livelihood aspect, because we wanted to empower them all, there was another chapter. That was the Yechin chapter. The Yechin, it was a section that we visited a lot of CEOs who are also women-centered. Our project, our focus are on the women. So it was a women-centered activities that we were doing. We visited women-centered organizations who are also, or who were also like them, and today they've moved ahead. So they also shared their stories, how they started the journey of life, and today we are seeing them like this, to empower them, letting them know that life does not just start like that. They started with a little, so they motivated them. And for us to also achieve all our aim, we did not just visited few, we visited all our focus selected organizations, or yes, to let them learn from all those people. And they were all welcoming. We visited them, they told us their stories, how they made it in life, how they do not let even their beginning draw them back, or what people were telling about them got them down. Some say they were even dropped out from schools, but they were able to make it in life. So this is how it started. And apart from that one, we were also invited into another Wakakosha boot camp. And this is where our self-stigma was really touched. How do I say our self-stigma? We know that's what we are talking about. HIV, that's the first thing, self-stigma. Self-stigma. We have to work on it. When you work on your self-stigma and someone is stigmatizing you, you don't care. But when you are also facing the self-stigma and they are stigmatizing you, it becomes a very big issue. So the Wakakosha book camp that we went to, it helped us. How did it go? In the morning, we have a morning reflections to talk about ourselves. We have the morning meditations that you reflect on what you are thinking about, how people are talking about you. We also have a section that we do the morning walk for you to see things around you and how do you think it will be done. So with this section, that's the Wakakosha boot camp too, has really helped our adolescents to also come out of their self-stigma to wield it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Auntie Ju. And actually, on that point, I would hand over to Mame, because actually that's how we also forged the collaboration with the WAPCAS team. And Mame, tell us more about how we sort of partnered together.
Okay. Thank you, Eunice. Yes, so WAPCAS came in, I think, starting with the boot camp and with the vision and support of our executive director, Auntie Comfort, who is here. We realized that Wakakosha or MeSomBo addresses the very heart of the HIV response. Because if you look at self-worth, you look at people's mental well-being, internalized stigma, these are issues that even we as an implementer for vulnerable populations in Ghana over the past 29 years, we have seen these issues over and over. And having been providing rights-based programming and psychosocial support, we knew that we could also bring something to reinforce the MeSomBo model and even expand it to other vulnerable populations, like even the vulnerable males and also the persons who use drugs. And so we came in to support the 6-day boot camp with all that it came with, the early morning walks, the meditation sessions, the guided reflections, the sessions that came with it. We realized that it really motivated the ladies, people who had so much internal stigma over the period of time, with the letters that they wrote, with the exercises that they did, the stigma started to fall off. So in some of the sessions, you see people crying, you see them coming to terms with things that they had held on to for many years because they had heard people saying these things about them. And they finally realized that, no, I can accept myself and I don't need to hold on to some of these negative emotions. And realizing that we can actually even integrate some of these evidence-based tools, like the inquiry-based stress reduction method, into our daily outreach peer education, because it confronts the negative thoughts that persons have about themselves and tells you that, no, when a thought comes into your mind, you can query that thought and then you can turn it around into a positive thought. So even after the boot camp, the post-evaluation, during the post-evaluation, we realized that it was a very impactful thing, and the ladies wanted to, the WAPCAS ladies who were part of the program, they kept insisting that they want this to be part of their daily outreach so they can benefit other vulnerable populations. And so to expand it further, we had a training with Beyond Stigma, which had developed a peer support guide for key and vulnerable populations using the same inquiry-based stress reduction model, the MeSomBo one. And so we were able to get training on this for all our clinical psychologists, for all the project officers for the WAPCAS project. And then they in turn did a step-down training for all the volunteers so that the volunteers can then, during their outreach education sessions, especially the community paralegals on stigma and discrimination, speak to the vulnerable population about self-stigma. So for us, it wasn't just about supporting a project, but it's about strengthening a movement which centers the dignity of persons, the mental well-being of persons, because once someone's mind is healed, we believe that everything follows, and they can in turn rebuild their relationships, rebuild their own vision for their future. Thank you.
And on that note, we would invite Vimbai with the moderators. We invite the moderators and Vimbai to come on stage to tell us about the inquiry-based stress reduction model while the rest of the panelists move.
Thank you so much, Eunice, for this opportunity, and I'm really honored to be part of the team that developed the DACHE program, such an empowerment to young women and empowerment and a movement in the change towards the HIV epidemic. So here, I think you have heard from the panel, they've been talking about the psychosocial support, which was part of the DACHE program. And my name is Vimbai Nashe Jazi. I'm from Beyond Stigma in Shandiri, and we'll be talking more about what is internal stigma, what birthed Wakakosha, and the inquiry-based stress reduction that was being talked about by literally everyone that was on the panel. So, internal stigma remains one of the silent yet most damaging barriers faced by adolescents and young people living with HIV. We have realized that it is not always about the external factor, it is not always about the external stigma that is coming or affecting how or the change of stigma in the lives of people living with HIV, but often it has to do with what's inside. So internal stigma, we say it occurs when negative beliefs about HIV turn inwards, creating feelings of shame, guilt, low self-esteem, self-blame, and a sense of being less than or not being part of the general population. So internal stigma, it matters for us to talk about it because it stands between our rights to health services, and even if services are available, I think we have heard, when you have internal stigma, you are not able to walk into the clinic. You are not able to ask for the services that you need. You are not able to seek support that you want. You are not able to seek or know that you need the care that you need. So when unaddressed, it affects every part of life, leading to delayed care, depression, fears around disclosure, poor adherence, weakened sense of self-worth, and if we are committed to achieving the health coverage, we must address these hidden obstacles that quietly keep people from treatment, community, and even have a sense of hope. So I'm just going to round up with a bit of a data. According to the GNMP Plus 2023 Global Stigma Index, 84.8% of people living with HIV experience internalized stigma. That is nearly 9 out of the 10 people that we are meeting. And it cuts across gender, it cuts across age, background, young people, those that have been newly diagnosed of HIV, those that have been long on ART, and that is where the Wakakosha came into place. So Wakakosha, which is now known here in Ghana as MeSomBo, means I am worth it. Wakakosha was co-developed by Beyond Stigma and Shandiri, and this is a youth-led driven approach which is layered into the Shandiri model and is driven by the community adolescent treatment supporters in Zimbabwe, and I'm happy now it has been adopted here into a frame which works for the Dache program. So Wakakosha uses a technique that is called the inquiry-based stress reduction, better known as the yellow card by the young people or the work. This work helps young people question the negative beliefs that they have about themselves and be able to find new, healthier ways of seeing themselves. It uses 4 easy questions and turnarounds to reduce stigma and to build self-worth. So these 4 questions, by asking, firstly, is it true? Can you absolutely know it is true? How do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? Who would you be without the thought? And as well, finding the turnaround allows the young people, allows them to discover for themselves what is true, what is not true, and how the thoughts affect their life. So it gives them a new perspective where they are living with that thought, but not believing it. We are not changing any situation. We are saying we're living with HIV, and we do not want to change who we are, but we want to change the belief that comes with HIV. So what have we learned in doing this project? We have learned that internal stigma is powerful, but it is not permanent. When we name it, when we understand it, and when we create safe spaces and we courageously question the thoughts that limit us, we weaken the grip, and MeSomBo Wakakosha reminds every young person that you are worth it. We have also realized that the IBSR is not only useful for people living with HIV. I'm sure you have heard from Mamia. This went to even to the clinical technicians, the board, everyone who's part working with young people, which shows that it can be used to spark conversations around challenges and beliefs that communities, families, and even healthcare workers may hold about living with HIV. So before I leave here, I just want to leave you with a quick demonstration on how we use these 4 questions, or what we call the yellow cards. So I'm going to use a belief which I believe most of us in this room can relate to. based on experiences that I've listed before. That comes probably when you have failed an exam, when you do not get the job you worked hard for, when your boss overlooks your effort, or you face rejection because you are living with HIV. All these moments can give rise to one painful belief that I'm not good enough. So when you are faced with such a thought that I've given example, I'm not good enough, we take the situation that you're coming with. If it is for a young person that has been rejected because of living with HIV, we take that, keep the situation in their heart through meditation, and then you ask, is it true that I'm not good enough? So the response for this question is either a yes or a no, and we say all the responses are all correct because this is your situation, this is something that you're going through. So on the second question, it helps someone to sit with their belief, with their stressful thought, not just respond from emotions or respond from pain. And you really ask yourself, can I absolutely know it's true that I'm not good enough? And when you have responded, again, the response is either a yes or a no. We go now to understand the reaction. What is it that I'm doing to myself when I'm believing that I'm not good enough? What opportunities am I missing when I'm believing that I'm not good enough? What spaces am I limiting myself from getting when I believe that I'm not good enough? We also see about feelings. What kind of feelings am I having about other people, about my ARVs, about the healthcare worker, because I'm just believing that I'm not good enough? So on the fourth question, which we say is the start of the turnaround, we ask you, who would you be without the thought? We are not changing the situation. That situation is there. You have been rejected by someone because you are living with HIV, but you are not believing that you are not good enough. And who would you be? So most of the times when you are in pain, you move in a narrow vision where you are not able to see other perspectives, other things that is beyond the pain that you have. So the fourth question helps you to see where you have been loved before, or where you have been good enough before, where you have been accepted before, where you have been able to get into opportunities with that HIV, but you are not believing that I'm not good enough. So when you have answered the fourth question, we go on to the turnaround where you say, I'm good enough, and you find specific examples which you can link to yourself to say, I am good enough. So some of the examples I've given to say, maybe you have been accepted by your friend but rejected by your boyfriend. But the turnaround, I'm good enough, I've been accepted before, so I am good enough. So this is how the inquiry-based stress reduction help young people look at themselves, evaluate, do a self-introspection on themselves, and come up with a turnaround. So I'm happy today that we are not just talking about the experiences or putting in presentation, but we do have representation of the young people that had been talked about, that were part of the DACHE program. So on the next segment, I'm going to introduce them, and I'm going to ask them to come on this podium so they can share their lived experience on how much they have transformed from the journey of internal stigma to self-worth to where they can say, MeSomBo, Wakakosha, I'm worth it. Let's give a round of applause as they are coming. A round of applause, a round of applause. Even the chairs could not fit the team that has come to share their experiences. So firstly, I know the moderator came here and I didn't love the energy that the room gave, because we're saying Wakakosha, I'm worth it. So I'm going to ask my girls to, give us how it's supposed to be when we say Wakakosha, I am worth it. On the mic, my girls. And we say Wakakosha, Wakakosha,
I am wealthy.
MeSomBo, MeSomBo.
Wakakosha.
All right, so I'm going to first ask you Linda. I remember we came to Ghana in 2024, and I just want to share with us your experience. How was it getting into those 6-day camp, doing the MeSomBo camp? What transformed for you and what changed?
Thank you so much, Wimbai. First of all, I would like to thank my mother, the director of WAPCAS, Auntie Comfort. Thank you. She took me from nowhere, and right now I'm here. Thank you. During the Wakakosha, I learned a lot, and I've learned that I shouldn't let any negative thoughts that comes into my mind be true. I'm a sister, so if someone is doing something, I shouldn't let it bother me a lot. Maybe they were not talking about me. Secondly, I also thought a lot of things about the meditation. At first, I thought meditation was for rich people. So we, the sisters, we don't have time for do that. But when I went to the camp, they really taught us all those things. So it has really helped me a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Meditation is not for the rich people. Once in a while, it's good to meditate on yourself, and thank you for sharing your experience. Then I go to Portia. What was it again, being part of the MeSomBo camp? What really changed for you, and can you share also your experience?
Thank you. So what I also experienced is, at first, I was not able to go closer to people, talk to them or share their problems. But with Wakakosha camp, I also learned to love myself, help other people and strengthen them if they are in need or in any difficulties. Thank you.
Thank you. Rejoice, we have heard here by the first panel that the Dacha program went on as to create a peer support guide as a way of helping not just you girls, but ensuring that the community is supported back home. Can you share with us how was it meeting the community as well as administering the peer support guide, talking about internal stigma as well as the Dacha program to them?
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. So after the training, after the Wakakosha training, when I go to the community, I was able to talk to my peers, encourage them. When they have the negative thoughts, how to go about it, how to love themselves, and how to go about their daily activities. Like, the communities are very free. Like, there are so many people in the community. There are so many things going on in the community. But still, you don't have to let any other negative thoughts affect you. Like, I'm a sister, so I don't have the right to go to facilities. No, you are a sister, but you have any right to walk to any facility for any service you want. I'm a sister, so I can't go into a crowded place where people are accepted. No, you are a sister, so you have to go there. Everyone have the right to accept you as you are. So that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rejoice. Rejoice speaks on one of our values that we move on with Swandile, accept me as I am. Don't accept the path that you want, but take me as I am, as I come to you. Thank you so much for your experience. I then move on to Faustina. So, to you, Faustina, do you have a story of how it was for you when you entered the boot camp, and some of the exercises maybe that still stands for you from the camp and what you have carried through to help even others back home?
Okay, thank you. So, the Wakakosha has really helped me a lot because at first when I got to know my status, it has not been easy, but through Wakakosha, I'm okay now. So my experience was like, after the meditation, the morning walk, sometimes when we are having the morning walk, you see the river passing by, a plant moving on it, but you see the plant moving down, it's not going back. So I said it to myself, even the plants are moving forward, so what about me? So I have to be like the plant, move forward. Even the plant have faith, so why me? So the Wakakosha has really helped me a lot, and I've experienced a lot of things. And even my own family that stigmatized me, after the boot camp, I got to teach them how the experience was like, and I teach them, I educate them about it. So let them knowing that maybe me being HIV positive, I will affect my cousins or the children of my sister, like through my sweat. They got to know that, oh, so that's not how it works. So everything is cool. Then through the Wakakosha, I'm now confident. At first, like how I'm sitting here now, I cannot be able to even talk or nothing. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Faustina. And you have heard it from her. I remember when I saw her in 2024, she wasn't this confident lady that is now here in ICASA representing and talking about her story proudly. Thank you so much for your courage, Faustina. I'll then move on to Sherita. I know you girls are now not just supporting yourself, you're no longer just confident in yourself, but actually impacting the community out there. We have heard that you have been doing outreaches, actually reaching to other communities, to other young girls like yourselves, empowering them. So I'd like to hear from you. Can you share a moment on one of the outreaches that you had? How was it for you? What made an impact in reaching out to your peers?
Okay. Previously, I wasn't having the confidence to go out like that. But with Wakakosha camp, I was able to go out. In the outreach, we moving out to the community, it was very big problem for us. But we reaching there, we realized that people out there were rather interested in what we were about to say. Some of them actually asked us that, oh, what are you doing? And that really motivates us to do more, to put more effort in whatever we have for them. So through the outreach, we can see that all of us have the confidence in us to, we were able to be empowered. That's the only thing I have.
Thank you. Empowered is a big word. Over to you, Ruth. Still on the same question. Can you share with us your experiences in the outreach, your experience when you first came across Wakakosha, and how you have managed to also empower your fellow peers?
Okay, so thank you so much. Actually, at first, it wasn't easy to go out, talk to people like your peers, educate them, and then let them know about HIV and other stuff. It wasn't easy, but through the outreach, I was able to talk to many people. People I've not even speak with. I was able to talk to them, educate them, and give them the power to go out and do many things they want. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And lastly, Pamela, I'm going to ask you, I know we have a lot of tools and I've just touched on the inquiry, but we do have the journals that we use. Faustina has talked about the morning walk and the reflections that comes. And I just want to, from your own experience, how did the use of journals, writing out letters, that creative part of the MeSomBo camp changed who you are, especially in expressing yourself, as well as changed yourself from internal stigma moving to self-worth?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. And I'm very happy to be here to share my experience about the MeSomBo boot camp. So before the MeSomBo boot camp, I had a lot of uncertainties, a lot of questions. I was So I was surviving, but I wasn't living life. I had fear, self-stigma. I had low self-confidence, and I had so many questions that I needed answers, but didn't know who to go to or where to get answers from. So when the Dachi project and then the MeSomBo bootcamp came, I was so happy because I got to realize that I'm not alone in this world, and I have a very big family. I have people that love me. I got to learn to love myself. And also concerning the journals, the hoodies, the yellow card, the morning walks, the meditation, they've been a very center part of my life because with the yellow card is one thing that really helped me. It helped me to know how to challenge my negative thoughts, to think that people are thinking this about me. But when I go through the yellow card, I get to realize that when I challenge my thoughts, I get to realize that that's not what they actually meant. Maybe it was something else, but I am thinking about it like that. And this is something that I've been having this negative thought about myself for over the years. Oh, they think this about me. But with the yellow card, I got to understand, and I was able to free myself from bondage because I wasn't thinking about them, and I thought about what they think differently, which really helped me. And then with the journals, we were able to write to ourselves, dear me, I'm sorry about this that I did. And we were able to talk to ourselves like ourselves, to understand ourselves better, love ourselves, because that's what the MeSomBo Bootcamp was about, to empower us, to get to love ourselves, to know that we are worth it and we deserve to live and we deserve to be alive or to even breathe. So the journals personally for me, even as I have it at home, I'm able to write to myself, I'm going to do this, dear me, this is what I want to be in the future. And then it helps me to also plan ahead. How am I going to achieve this without even thinking about people think about me or something like that? So it really helps me to really write about myself, a letter to myself, what I want to be, how do I get to do that, how do I achieve it? And it's really something great. And for the hoodies, my favorite part, because it really comforts me, really, really. I don't need, if I don't get anyone to comfort me, my sad times, because definitely there are times that I do still feel those kind of feelings of low self-worth, but I have my hoodies with me. When I grab it and wear it, I squeeze myself in it, cover my head, and then I just feel okay. And the hoodies actually warms you. So you feel this warmth, you feel this. And because we were all given the hoodies, when you wear it, it gives you like a unified energy, like you are not the only one in it. Yes, it gives you that kind of energy that you are being loved, you should love yourself, you are not alone, and you are empowered. So that's one thing about the hoodies I love. And also with the empowerment and then the, what's it called, the outreach, it really helped me to boost my confidence, because with the outreach, I came to realize that there were lots of people that didn't even understand these STIs, how it even works, how they should even protect themselves. But before that, we were really scared. Are they going to accept us, even at the marketplace, because that place was noisy? But people listened, and they were willing to learn more. And there was even one little, I think she was about 18. And she called me aside, she was telling me, wow, thank you so much for explaining it better. I'm getting to understand better. I didn't know that this was what HIV means. This is how I can get it. This is how I can protect myself. And she really was grateful that I was able to explain it to her. Because I am in the situation, I was able to explain it better to her. So I feel this kind of outreaches will really, really help, because we are in it, we understand the problem, and we should empower others. They will feel that energy, or they will match that energy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, girls, for the wonderful inputs. And we have heard it all from their mouth. Meaningful engagement, when the young people are at the core of not just implementation, but design making, and are there in the development processes. everything works and they can be able to reach out to their young people. Pamela has said it well, that we can relate to the young people. We have been through this, we know what we are going through. So when we talk about institutional stigma, looking at our lives, they are actually able to resonate and actually change. Can we give a round of applause to our wonderful panel for the change that we are seeing? And with that, we just want to say, MeSomBo, Wakakosha, Wakakosha, MeSomBo. Wherever you are, know that you're worth it. Thank you.